In this video, we're finishing the ASA and AAS Congruence worksheet on the KutaSoftware website under the Geometry section. I'll leave a link in the description below so you know how to access this free worksheet. For the second part, we're going to state what additional information is required in order to know that the triangles are congruent for the reason given. In number 11, it states that the reason is ASA. ASA is angle side angle, where two angles in the included side are congruent to the corresponding angles inside of the other triangle. So right away we can see that both triangles share the segment CD, so CD is congruent to itself. And since we're looking at the included side, we know that the other angles that have to be congruent have to also touch that side. So this angle here must be congruent to this angle. That will give us angle side angle, and you can see angle side angle. Therefore, in order for number 11 to be true, we need angle ECD to be congruent to angle QCD. Our reason is also angle side angle. We're given that angle K is congruent to angle U. We're given that angle L is congruent to angle T. But we need that included side to also be congruent. So the included side of K and L is segment KL, and the included side for angles T and U is segment UT. So KL must be congruent to segment UT. That way we have angle, included side, and angle. And number 13, again, our reasoning is ASA, angle side angle. We know that this is a vertical angle, so these two angles are congruent. We also know that 90 degrees is congruent to 90 degrees. So we have two angles. Now we just have to state that the included side is also congruent. So that is this segment CS and this segment RS, the included side. So segment RS is congruent to segment CS. For number 14, again, angle side angle. This angle UVW forms a vertical angle with MVK, therefore they are congruent. We need the included side to be congruent as well, so angle W is congruent to angle K, and since these two angles are also congruent, the included side is this WV and this KV. So we need to have that WV is congruent to KV in order for angle side angle congruence to work. And number 15, it gives us that our reasoning is angle side. So we have that angle TDC is congruent to angle EDC. And since these triangles share a common side, this segment DC is congruent to itself. So we need one more angle, since this is angle side, and that angle cannot be here because that would be an included side. So the angles that need to be congruent are angle E and angle T. So angle E is congruent to angle T. And again, that's because if this angle DCE, was marked that it was congruent to angle DCT, then this would be a SA because that side would be included. That's why angle E is congruent to angle T for a reasoning of AAS. And number 16, again, our reasoning is AAS, and it gives us our two angles. So we need to make sure that the congruent side is not included. So there are two non-included sides. So we can say that YZ is congruent to MN, or the other non-included side is this side here. So we could also say that XZ or ZX is congruent to NL. Either of those would be true for AAS congruence because both of those sides are non-included. Just make sure that you have the correct sides congruent to each other. So YZ is not congruent to NL. And number 17, we have ASA. So angle side angle, so the included side needs to be congruent. We have that both triangles share this segment GH, so we know that that's congruent to itself. And if GH is the included side, that means that this angle IGH is going to be congruent to this angle VHG. Angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. And lastly in this worksheet, number 18. For 18, the reasoning it gives us is angle, angle, side. So we need to use a non-included side. The side that we have congruent is KL, since KL is congruent to itself. So we need to pick an angle that makes this the non-included side. And we have two separate options. Since angle F is congruent with angle J, we can say that angle JKL is congruent with angle FLK. And you can see that that side is not included because here is AAS and there is AAS. And we know that JKL is congruent to FLK because these triangles are not a direct reflection. Therefore, these alternate angles are the congruent angles, not the angles that are next to each other. We could also say that angle KLJ is congruent to angle LKF. Angle JLK is congruent to angle LKF. And that's because, again, we'll have angle, angle, side, and angle, angle, side, where the non-included side is the congruent side. So either of those answers is correct. And with that, we wrap up our worksheet, angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side congruence. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to look at my other KutaSoftware videos if you need extra practice. Also, if you have any comments, please leave it in the comment section below.